Hi. uh, I'm doing another video tonight. Um, Originally I had tried to do this video, but I had to redo it because it didn't record right. So I'm doing this. I'm redoing this video because I think it's very, very important to talk on. I don't know how much of the people in Seattle will find it important. The ones that are making the big dollars may not even care. It's the ones that do the grunt work that actually, this is actually dealing with them. It says here, a federal judge finds Seattle partly out of compliance with police reform deal of and it's a major blow to the city. Well, there's a lot of things that are a major blow to Seattle, the city of Seattle. Homelessness. You got drug problems. You got alcoholism. You've got police problems. You've got a city council that doesn't care. Well, I'm not going to say they don't care about you guys. They don't care about the city of Seattle. But it looks like they are in it just for themselves. I was in talks with the city council, but now they are getting kind of annoyed with me because they can see that I actually want them to start doing their job, and that's kind of bothering them a little bit. It says here that citing a history of defiance by Seattle's rank-and-file police union, a federal judge on Wednesday found that a portion of Seattle's contract with the union fails to address officer accountability, threatening to undermine public confidence in a 7-year-old reform agreement between the city and the Department of Justice. Let me just say this, by and large, the ones that are not affected by this are not going to give a shit about this. I hate to use plain language, but when I run for mayor of Seattle, I plan on using the same type of language to convey a particular point. Not only is it threatening to undermine the public confidence, the ones that actually live in Seattle, not the ones that are staying there making all that loot, buying these expensive houses and large, expensive apartments. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the regular folks, the ones on minimum wage, the ones on disability that are actually trying to live there and trying to make ends meet, that actually love the city and care what happens to the city. The ones that get harassed by the police. I'm talking about the people that well, actually everybody in Seattle should care about Seattle. It says here, delivering a lengthy and dramatic ruling from the bench, U.S. District Judge James Robart told a packed courtroom the city had fallen partly out of compliance with the agreement that they had. Before the city can be released from federal oversight, it must respond to deficiencies that include the closed-door appeals process for officers who have been fired or disciplined. Basically what they're saying is that if you do something worth getting fired for publicly, the city can sneak, or the police department can sneak in behind people's backs in a closed-door session and quietly rehire you and pay you back wages It makes them look good for firing you because the public is screaming, fire that person, fire that person. They deserve to not be on the police department anymore. They don't deserve to be on the police force anymore. Well, the city can say, screw you. Well, not the city. The police department can say, screw you. We want him on the force or her on the force. So while we will publicly fire them, we will secretly hire them back and you won't be the wiser. It says here, while praising as national models the department's work in improving areas such as use of force, crisis intervention, supervision, and stops and detentions, Robart's much anticipated ruling was sharply critical of the city's long-standing inability to address officer accountability. It's like the officers can do anything they want and not be held responsible for it. They can shoot somebody in the back and they can get away with it. They can be a cop in New York and use an illegal chokehold on someone, and if that person dies, the cop is not even brought up on any charges because he is a white police officer. Yes, I said it. A white police officer. Yes, there is white privilege in America. There is people in America that don't believe there's white privilege, but if you are walking down the street and there was a white person walking towards you, would you walk straight or would you cross the street? Now, you're walking down the street and a Mexican or somebody that's black or somebody that's Asian walks down the street towards you. You have enough time. Do you keep walking toward that person? And if you do you tense up and look at the ground, or do you say, hey, and as you walk by, as a way to say, hello, how are you? Or do you skedaddle your ass across the street to the other side like you're supposed to be on the other side anyway? Let me say that again. Most people would probably cross the street because they are afraid, because there is white privilege. When you go into a store and you've got kids, if you're white, 9 times out of 10, security is not going to be walking around looking at you unless you're looking like a drug addict with your elbow hanging out your ear, then they might. But for the most part, if you're a decent looking white person and you've got kids that look decent and you're in a store, security will not bother you. They will not follow you. They will not see what you're up to. If you are not white, 9 times out of 10, they will follow you. They will scope you out and they will look at you funny. White privilege. The police department is full of them, and the cops that are on the police department that are not white, they have to go along to get along. It says here that Robart said, we are better, but we are not perfect. Characterizing the positive changes in the department, including a sharp decline in the use of force, as profound. Yes, you have to use force from time to time. You are a police officer. There is time when you use force. Like the old saying goes, take him outside, but be nice. Ignore him, but be nice, until such a time not to be nice. Arrest somebody, but be nice, until there is such a time as not to be nice, and you will know when that time comes upon you. If you are just somebody that is not nice all the time, you are in the wrong profession. The police department is there to serve the citizens of the city of Seattle. They're not there to serve themselves. They're not there to serve special interests. They're not there to serve big business. They're not there to serve the city council. They are there to serve the citizens of Seattle equally and unbiased. It should not matter if the person is black or white or Mexican or Asian. It should only matter that they are a person that either needs help or needs to be arrested or needs to be taken out of the situation so they can cool down. We are people. Yes, it is good to know where you come from. If you're black, it is good to know where you come from because of diseases and things like that that could be in your family. Other than that, it is something that should not be looked upon. If it is somebody that says, oh, who was it? Was he black? It doesn't matter. He was an individual that did something. So I arrested him because he broke the law. He broke the law in such a way that I could not give him a warning. I had to take him in. It was worth him being taken in for. It wasn't a slap on the wrist offense where I could say, oh, please don't do that again. Okay, I won't. Thank you, officer. And then they leave. Sometimes you have to cuff them and stuff them. Sorry about that. I had a call come in. Somebody ordered some food, and because my number is the number that they usually have on file, they thought it was me. But anyway, back to what I was saying, that there's just a time and a place for everything, and you can't blanket everybody and stick them into the same box. It just doesn't work that way. Basically, what's going on here is that there was a police officer, Seattle police officer, who had come to a woman who was drunk. She was being belligerent, yelling and screaming and cursing and kind of fighting a little bit, and she was handcuffed. And as the police officer was putting her in the squad car, she kind of kicked at him. She didn't hurt him. She kind of kicked at him, and he got angry at her for kicking him. So he hauled off and socked her really hard in the face. He hit her so hard that it busted her eye socket out. Yeah, hit her in the face. It busted her eye socket out. Her eye was out of its socket. The police officer was publicly fired, but then the police officer was quietly hired back by the police department, and the officer was given back pay, which means for the time he was off, he was given pay. Now, I can't prove this. I have no evidence to prove this, but my gut feeling is, and usually my gut is always right, when your gut tells you something, trust your gut. If your gut says to skedaddle because you're about to get in trouble, skedaddle as quick as you can. Now, my gut's telling me that when they let that officer go, they told him, look, we're going to suspend you. The public will think you've been fired. We will publicly fire you. But after things calm down a little bit, we will quietly hire you back onto the police force, and we will give you all the money that you lost while you were off. We will fire you, and we will hire you back. That's basically what they were saying. And the judge, the federal judge, said that they found that to be not right. I personally don't believe it's right either. I believe that if you fire a police officer for doing bad, and he has done bad or she has done bad, and it's worthy of being fired, yes, that you should fire the person, and there should be no way that they could get hired back. If they get hired back, I believe that they should go to jail. And whoever hired them back they should go to jail too. That's my personal feeling on it. I know that the police are not perfect, we're all human, but if you're going to be a police officer, you have to be above. You have to set yourself to a higher standard than the people that you are taking care of in the city. Yes, we get angry, I get that. But I'm gonna let you in on a little something. I was watching this movie, and this movie has a lot to do with what I'm talking about now. I'm just going to tell you this, and I'm going to get going. This movie was called 42. It was a Jackie Robinson story. And Branch Rickey, who was the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers, was hiring Jackie Robinson to play for the Montreal Royals, which was a farm team of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And he said, "Can you do it?" And Jackie Robinson said, "Do what?" He goes, "Control that temper of yours. Can you do it?" They ain't going to like this. What I'm doing, they're not going to like it. They're going to hate it. They're going to hate me and they're going to hate you. So what do you do when you go into a fine hotel? You're tired, on the road, been driving for 10 hours on the bus, and you're tired and you want to go to sleep, but you get to a hotel and they say, "I'm sorry, boy, you can't come in here. Coloreds aren't allowed." Or what do you do when they call you the N-word and they call you an ape and they give you all kinds of other stuff, derogatory, making fun of you? What are you going to do? Fight them? You going to fight them? And Jackie Robinson looked at Branch Rickey and he said, "You want a player that doesn't have any guts?" And Branch Rickey said, "No. No. I want a player that has the guts to not fight back. I want a player that's got the guts to take it." They ain't going to like this, bringing you into the major leagues like this. This is new territory. They ain't going to like it. And Jackie Robinson said, "You give me a number on my back, and I'll give you the guts." The police department needs to be like that too. If I was a police officer and somebody spit in my face, I would have to control my temper. If somebody was to punch at me while they're drunk, I'd have to control my temper. I'd have to subdue them. I would have to make sure that they're not going to hurt themselves or me, but I wouldn't haul off and get angry and start beating on them either. You can't do that. You swore an oath to take care of the citizens of the city, regardless of whether they're drunk or regardless of whether they're sober and an upstanding citizen. There's going to be those people out there that are going to rub the police the wrong way. The police cannot allow themselves to be rubbed the wrong way. They have to be calm and cool as a cucumber. They've got to do their job without flinching, but the police have to stay calm. There's a time and a place for everything. There'll be a time to walk softly and carry a big stick, and there'll be a time to use that stick to protect the person you're trying to apprehend as well as yourself and the ones around you. Sometimes a person has to get shot. That's the way it goes. I don't like that, but sometimes they give no choice. That's the way he wants it, so that's the way he gets it. And on that note, I'm going to let you go. Have a good night, Seattle, and all points beyond. Oh, before I forget, leave a comment down in the things below here if you like my video. If you got a comment on my video and you don't like what I was talking about, let me know. If you have an issue with anything in this video, let me know. I'll converse with you. If you like my videos and the direction they're going, hit like and subscribe. I got 78 or some videos up already. They ain't perfect, but it's me. And if I get a chance to be your mayor of Seattle, what you see is what you get. I don't pull no punches, and I don't create no crap, but I don't take no crap either. I love you, Seattle. Have a good night. To all points beyond.